This is an island surrounded by water, big water, ocean water. Trust me, I'm like a smart person. I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius. I had the best words. Tolerated. I know words. Mike Pounds. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation. But there's no better word than stupid. Anonymous, really anonymous. I'm very highly educated. One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. Had the best words. God bless the United States. Surrounded by water, big water, ocean water. Trust me, I'm like a smart.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Around the Nation right here, Waldorf Nation. It's Monday, you can tell. All right, everybody, welcome to the show. Had some weird audio issues there for a second, but hey, is what it is. All right, anyway, I do a professional show here. What are you talking about? We're 100% pro. I don't know what you mean by error. Okay, anyway. We got a show for you guys today. Thank you, by the way, for Boucher99 for that subscription over there on Twitch. Thank you. Much appreciated. Goes to help us out. All right, anyway, so we're going to have a fun show today here. We've got Rudy Giuliani reaping what they sow. Fun times. Ocean Tech. Oh, thank you. I probably said that wrong. But thank you so much for subscribing with Prime, by the way, on Twitch for 2 months. That is awesome. Thank you very much for helping and supporting the show. And hello to everybody on YouTube and the rest of everywhere else. Like I said, we're going to talk about Rudy Giuliani. We've got Kelly Loeffler. That's fun. There was a little bit of a debate last night, and there were some fun moments. That's fun. We also have Steve Doocy versus Newt Gingrich. Little weirdness going on in Fox. We have the war on Christmas, and then Trump is feeling a little down. So, sad. Anyway, we'll talk about that anyway. All right. That said, please like and share the stream if you haven't already. Very helpful if you do so. That said, let's dive into it. It appears that Donald Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, has got a little case of the Rona. Over the weekend, it was revealed that the 76-year-old former mayor of New York has coronavirus, COVID-19. In fact, it was none other than President Donald Trump who broke the news via tweet. He said, Rudy Giuliani, by far the greatest mayor in the history of New York City, and who's been working tirelessly exposing the most corrupt election by far. Oh my God. In the history of the USA. It's just the most corrupt election in the history by far in the entire United States. Has tested positive for the China virus. Get better soon, Rudy. We will carry on. Yes, this guy was working tirelessly to lose every single case brought before the states, including in front of Republican judges in Michigan, Arizona, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, and at events where he did not wear a mask. Shocker. Somehow that guy got coronavirus? Wow. I would never have imagined. I just don't know how that could have happened, honestly. Like, seriously, he was the model of not doing anything. And somehow, he did all of nothing and somehow still ended up getting coronavirus. Now, Salon staff writer Rajan Sullenberger had asked, by the way, earlier, back in August, if Rudy Giuliani was worried at all about contracting the virus. And I think that's important because now he has it, and his response earlier, to getting the virus and his response to possibly getting the virus, it's just interesting to note for posterity, just in case. I'm going to hold on to this segment, okay? Here's what he said back in August during text, if he was, at all concerned about exposure to COVID. I was checked before, so was everyone I was in contact with. I also don't panic over it. If I should get it now, mortality rate is lower than most things I could face. Okay, but mortality rate for younger people is lower, for sure. But for older people, it's kind of high. Okay, it's a lot higher than it is for younger people. I'm saying, you're 76 years old. You are not a spring chicken. I understand Donald Trump is pretty old too. He's in his 70s as well. And Donald Trump did recover, but he had been able to go to Walter Reed Medical Center because he's the president of the United States and get the best treatment, experimental treatment that he could. And look, exposure to COVID and recovery from COVID is based on a lot of different factors that a lot of us really don't even understand yet. Because the virus is so new and because of how aggressively it attacks so many systems on some people, and yet how it can leave other people almost completely alone as far as, being asymptomatic and still being able to spread the virus, or to getting very mild symptoms versus people who, have to get intubated, and some people who are younger that are getting strokes and having heart problems and liver problems and setting themselves up, people who are healthy, either setting themselves up for, pre-existing conditions for the rest of their lives, or even dying. And so you don't know what you're dealing with, Rudy. So I don't know. But here's what he said. We're going to continue with this. It's not the same disease it was 4 months ago. And there are many therapies that give you 95+ chance of staying out of the hospital. And by the way, hospitals, I just have to mention, I hope you're right, Rudy, because hospitals right now are at their breaking point. Here's what he also added: in first 5 or 6 days, hydroxychloroquine and zinc, and possibly adding athromycin will work for sure. Has anybody heard anything about hydroxychloroquine in months? I haven't. But then again, this was back in August that he was talking about this. So it's yeah, take the hydroxychloroquine and everything's going to be fine. Whoops, hydroxychloroquine. Not even President Trump's talking about hydroxychloroquine anymore. So come on. But he said, it did for 5 of my friends. Yes, 5 of your friends. And 99% in recent study. Not true. If we followed the science, we would give people the honest information. How'd that work out? How'd him taking hydroxychloroquine work out? Not good. Yet, here's what he tweeted just earlier, right? I'm getting great care and feeling good, recovering quickly and keeping up with everything. Okay, look, if that's true, great, good for him. But I do happen to remember another person who contracted COVID, and he was basically sending out the same messages. We were assured that he was doing fine. You know who that person was? Herman Cain, who then died later. In fact, here's some tweets from the Herman Cain account. Okay, this is back in July 27th of this year. He said, "We know it's been a few days since we last gave you an update on the boss, but he is still in the hospital being treated with oxygen for his lungs." By the way, Donald Trump, he was also treated with oxygen at Walter Reed. In the meantime, the doctors say his other organs and systems are strong. Re-strengthening the lungs is a long and slow process, and the doctors want to be thorough about it. We'd like him to be able to come home now, which is frustrating, but we're glad the doctors are being thorough and making sure they do the job right. Thank you for praying, everyone. Please keep doing it. He really is getting better, which means it is working. 3 days later, Herman Cain died. So you could be doing fine with coronavirus, and then you're not doing fine. This virus is aggressive. It is. And by the way, this isn't just about Rudy Giuliani or Herman Cain or whatever. For Rudy Giuliani, I don't really give a shit. Okay? It's really about the people that he could infected by being an idiot. Okay? For example, in Arizona, he was recently in Arizona. Guess what? As a result of him being there to argue those ridiculous cases on behalf of Donald Trump, the Arizona State House and Senate are now being closed for the week. Quote, out of an abundance of caution following Rudy Giuliani's COVID-19 diagnosis, according to an article by the Arizona Republic. Giuliani spent more than 10 hours discussing election concerns with the Arizona Republicans, including 2 members of Congress and at least 10 current and future state lawmakers, at the Hyatt Regency Phoenix last Monday. The 76-year-old led the meeting maskless, so he didn't wear masks, flouting social distancing guidelines, and had been posing for photos. So, I mean, of course he did. Of course he did. Are you any at all surprised? I am not. Okay. But for me, fuck around and find out. And certainly Rudy Giuliani fucked around. But here's the other thing, right? And this is more than that. And this is what's important, okay? You could do all the right things and still get coronavirus because of people like Rudy Giuliani, because of the people who don't care, because of the people who do flout social distancing. Yes, you can wear a mask, and to some extent it does protect you. But if the other person is not wearing a mask, and he or she is getting in your personal space, and, you know, you're inside indoors for a long period of time, that mask isn't going to matter as much. Okay? And that's not to say that masks don't work. Masks absolutely do, in the context of everyone has to wear them. Everyone's got to wear them. Everyone's got to keep their distance. And, of course, the good personal hygiene, washing your hands and all that stuff. And so masks are, and I hate this binary thinking from Republicans. Oh, well, either something works 100% or it works 0%. That's not how things work. There are, I would say, masks are somewhere in the 90% effectiveness. Maybe not, maybe more so. I'm not sure of the exact number, to be honest with you. But they're more effective than not doing anything. And so they are effective. And the more people that use them, the more effective it gets. They don't understand this very simple concept. They don't get it. And that's the problem, okay? And this is why. I've been saying from the beginning, controlling this virus takes a community effort, okay? And unfortunately, for about a third of the community, they think, oh, the hell with that. No, wearing a mask, what about my freedom? I'm going to go out and get Applebee's, screw the rest of you, and I don't want to wear a mask when I do it. I want to sit inside the restaurant and not do carry out. It's my American right to get a cheeseburger served to me inside of a restaurant by a teenager. But why? Why can't you just wait for a goddamn minute? Okay? where we all, are on the same page and do what we need to do to beat the virus, then you can go to Applebee's and stuff your face without having to have your server come out with a goddamn hazmat suit. And this, unfortunately, this entire mentality is why we have 282,000 just about Americans dead and the worst coronavirus spike that we have had yet. And it's not over with. And it's just incredibly frustrating. And it's going to lead to more. I don't know what's going to happen to Rudy Giuliani. Maybe he will recover because he might get the best care ever or any of the other factors. But you know what? If he does, good for him. If he doesn't, well, you get what, reap what you sow. All right. Telling you this whole thing is frustrating. All right. Moving on. President Trump is not having a fun time. Following his defeat in the election, his advisors have said that he's basically depressed, moody, and has given up. This is according to a report in the New York Times, which cited conversations with several of his advisors, saying that he was moody, sometimes depressed, and barely showing up to work. To which I ask, where's the difference than normal? I'm just saying. But okay, nonetheless. This comes from an article published on Saturday by Peter Baker. So now, this is interesting. I want to read what he wrote. Baker writes that Trump's final days in office are peppered with angry tweets and a fixation on rewarding friends. All the stuff we've already noticed. Purging the disloyal and punishing a growing list of perceived enemies that now includes Republican governors, his own attorney general, and Fox News. Who knew that it would end like this? Oh, right. All of us. Now, there are, by the way, reports where William Barr is considering resigning. And we've all seen the attacks on the governors and attorney generals in the states that decided to certify their election results, which is all of them. Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Georgia, all the places that he challenged and lost. And so he, of course, flips out. Now, the one section of Baker's article that got some attention is where he was compared to a Shakespearean character, which is funny because I doubt Donald Trump even knows what that is or has read any of it. So let me read this. Right. At times, Mr. Trump's railing against his outbursts seemed like a story straight out of William Shakespeare. Part tragedy, part farce, I would say all farce, full of sound and fury, is Mr. Trump a modern-day Julius Caesar? Forsaken by even some of his closest courtiers? Or King Richard III? Let me just say that this is so unbelievably New York Times. Oh my God, a Shakespearean character. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's actually kind of cool that they're making the comparison, but it is kind of, you know what I mean. Anyway, King Richard III, who wars with the nobility until being toppled by Henry VII, King Lear, railing against those who do not love and appreciate him sufficiently. How sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless electorate. No, let me tell you what Trump is. He's the Mad Emperor with no clothes, with a little bit of Joffrey mixed in. And the reason I say that is because there's another article that came out in the Huffington Post, and it shows that in his final days, Donald Trump has stepped up federal executions. So from the article, quote, the federal government has executed 8 people with 5 more people scheduled to die before President Trump leaves office. Since it reinstated capital punishment at the federal level this summer, the Trump administration has killed more death row prisoners than the U.S. government has done in the last 5 decades combined. Compared that, of course, to the states, which, because of the risks of coronavirus, and obviously not to the prisoners, but the prisoners understand that people in prison have been getting coronavirus at incredibly high levels because it's prison, closed space, etc. And of course, people not caring about the lives of people who are in prison. And so, but as a result of coronavirus and those safety concerns to the staff, yes, that's where their priorities are lying, they decided to suspend executions. But the federal government's like, nope, executions, let's do it. Now, you guys know me. I am anti-death penalty for many, many reasons, right? Both personal and, more importantly, based on evidence. There's just no evidence to show that the death penalty is sufficiently a deterrent. I think we can see that already. And more often than not, it gets to wrong people, unfortunately. And so we see that. But this is especially, being against the death penalty is one thing, but seeing this, it is really appalling to see that the last of the administration, of the Trump administration, is going to be bloody, literally. And it's just, I don't know, it just feels like they're like, step it up. Let's kill as many people as we can before Trump has to go. I mean, come on. And this isn't the only way that the administration is going out bloody. 282,000 people have died in this country as a result of coronavirus. And we're not done. We're in the middle of a massive spike. It's going to get worse. It's going to get more bloody. So I guess, excuse me if I don't feel all that sad for Donald Trump feeling depressed. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Donnie. Do you have a sad? Are you feeling a little down? Well, that's okay. You're just going to go and kill people on death row. Make you feel better. What a horrible person. Terrible. Baby, pathetic loser. Look, there are important things, right? We got 20 million people that are about to lose their lifeline with unemployment benefits that are running out. Thanks to Mitch McConnell, thanks to Congress, and the weak, feckless Democratic Party, who now says, oh no, you know what? We're okay with a $908 billion package that gives no stimulus checks and barely any unemployment benefits and corporate liability. We're totally cool with all that. And I guess we were just going to wait. I mean, yes, we had a deal earlier that we could have possibly made with Donald Trump that would have given $1.8 trillion. And that was their compromise. Now we're going to do a compromise, which is even closer to the Republican position now that we've won. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But nonetheless, you have a country that is in deep trouble. And you've got Donald Trump feeling so sad and depressed, not because of any of that, not because the country that he swore to defend and to promote the general welfare of and to serve, but because that country has rejected him on a personal level, rejected him on an electoral and political level, which to him is the same thing. And so he just doesn't care anymore. Fuck it. Don't give a shit. I'm not even going to go out and pretend to do that. I'm just going to sit here sad, barricaded in my little bunker. What a baby. Baby. We need actual help. And this shows you exactly who he is. Okay? We got homeboys tweeting about an election that he lost fair and square. And that's the only thing he cares about. He's a sociopath. And the only person that he's ever felt sorry for is himself. All right. Anyway, moving on here. We'll go to the next story, and then we'll take a little break. On Sunday, Senator Kelly Loeffler had a debate with Raphael Warnock for the special election that is happening for two different seats in Georgia. Now, the other debate was supposed to be between David Perdue and John Ossoff, but Perdue just decided not to show up. So it was Ossoff and an empty podium. So now the other debate, as I said, Loeffler versus Warnock, that was much more interesting. And during that debate, she was challenged by Warnock on her shady stock trades. And so this was her response to that. Let's take a look.
Georgians up. They want to defund the police. I've been completely exonerated. Those are lies perpetrated by the left-wing media and Democrats to distract from their radical agenda. But look what Democrats have done. They have stood for stonewalling relief that I voted for twice in the Senate to deliver relief to families, to farmers, to schools and hospitals. They're playing politics. That's what they're using their lies to cover up. The fact that they don't have a positive agenda to lift Georgians up. They want to defund the police, raise your taxes, implement the Green New Deal that would crush jobs and opportunity.
I know that there was like momentarily no sound in that, but as you could hear, you probably didn't really miss a whole lot. But there it was. So what's wrong with her? I mean, for one, a lot of people noticed that she kept saying radical liberal, radical liberal, radical liberal. The Democrats are for defunding the police. We must destroy all humans. I mean, vote for me. Really? Okay, like you could tell that she sat there and memorized these talking points. That's all she had. And I've actually got to admit, this is the first time that I heard her talk, and I'm convinced that she's a goddamn Cylon or something. More substantively, of course, she dodged a question, which was about her stock trades. And instead she was like, I have been completely exonerated. It is all a plot by the liberal Democrats. Okay, no, it's less I've been exonerated and more of she is actually part of a system that lets people get away with insider trading. Even though it's technically illegal, do you really see people get punished for it? The last that I can think of is like Martha Stewart. And she doesn't exactly have a lot of, she does have wealth, yes, but does she have a lot of political power? I don't know. For me, and that was, 20 years ago? Something like that. I feel like there isn't anything you couldn't get away with now in America if you have wealth and power. And look, Loeffler's husband is Jeffrey Sprecher. Jeffrey Sprecher is the literal head of the New York Stock Exchange. Do you think that they would ever prosecute either of them? I mean, seriously? I mean, the entire idea of that is inconceivable. They don't go after people in power. They just don't. But that's not the only time, of course, that she responded with what appeared to be some very rehearsed, canned responses. In fact, when asked if she would be, if senators should be barred from selling stock, here's what she said.
Senator, should members of Congress be barred from trading stocks?
Look, what's at stake here in this election is the American dream. That's what's under attack. When they attack me for a lie, a left-wing media lie, conspired with the Democrats by, this is an attack on every single Georgian who gets up every day to work hard to provide a better life for their family, who wants to live the American dream. It's a distraction from the real issues, not the conspiracies in this election. What's at stake is the future of our country, our freedoms to live the American dream.
Our freedoms to live the American dream.exe. Come on. Look, I didn't realize the American dream was failing upward. Although, I guess when you think about it, it kind of is. I mean, President Donald Trump is the ultimate fail son. I can't think of anything Kelly Loeffler had done to deserve becoming a senator, so I couldn't think of anything Donald Trump had done to become president. I mean, look, she was not even elected, okay? This is her first election. She was literally just appointed. She was put in that position. Never worked for that position, never worked for her wealth either. You know what she did? She got married to a rich guy. I mean, hey, if that's your American dream, okay. It's different than mine, which is actually, working your ass off and eventually getting to that position, which is incredibly difficult for people to do, but it is possible. And there are people out there that are making it very, very difficult for many of us to do. But that said, just because you get to that position through being a fail son or a fail daughter, well, that doesn't mean that you should be able to make laws for the rest of us just because you got to that position, especially if you get it in that way. So now social media decided to weigh in on this debate about mainly how robotic she was. And so I love it. And this first comment comes from ResistBot. I think Senator Kelly Loeffler should have been asked to pass a CAPTCHA before this debate. Well, I mean, obviously she would have failed. Even the, check the box if you're not a robot. I should be like, sad robot noises. Rude Pundit says, it's the first time I've seen Kelly Loeffler speak. Mine too. Jesus fuck, what a Klonopin-infused conservabot. There's no way that creepy thing is a human. Another one here. I mean, I've had nightmares where Kelly Loeffler, androids, try to harvest my soul power for their batteries. I never thought those things were real. Apparently, and they're running for Congress in Georgia. Or maybe she's not maybe she's more like a fembot from Austin Powers. I don't know. Another person says, Kelly Loeffler sounds like a chatty Cathy doll. Pull the cord and all it can deliver is Republican pre-recorded lies and false claims against Democrats. I mean, one of the biggest lies that she said there was about Raphael Warnock being in favor of defunding the police. He's not. Now, as somebody who was pro-defund the police, I understand that people have no idea what that actually fucking means. And so, as a result, that nobody understands what it actually means, they think they're going to get rid of the police. The ninth police officer, man, who protects us, that means you're going to get rid of them and allow Antifa to come in and fuck our wives. No, that's not what that means. Okay? That's not what that means. I've explained before that it's basically mild redistribution of funds instead of some of the funding that police precincts normally get. You take some of that fund to go to the community to tackle the roots of crime instead of funding the reaction to crime, which is, of course, the police. I like to think of it as preventative care in a way. Okay, I think about it this way. You want to help somebody avoid heart disease. You want to help a group of people, a community, avoid heart disease. So you subsidize access to healthier food. All right, you make it so that vegetables are cheaper than junk food. Okay, and then you give people the tools and you give people the education and knowledge, and then you encourage them to make better decisions in their lives. That's kind of what this is about. You take the money instead of subsidizing corn and junk food, right? In this analogy, right? And you subsidize healthy, organic foods. Same thing with defund the police. You take the money instead of subsidizing Bearcats and munitions and arms. You take the money and you put it into community programs. For example, after-school programs, which in some, in studies, it's shown that they have some positive effects on the community at reducing crime. Healthcare, fixing socioeconomic problems in the community, right? Making sure that there's investment in small business and jobs and good paying jobs and hiring, things like that. Okay, that is stuff that the money that would go to arms and armaments and arresting people and whatever, that's where that money would go. That doesn't mean you won't have police. It just means that you won't have such an overbearing, over-policed presence that will then justify itself through more arrests, more funding, creating a basically a cycle of an oppressed community, where it's almost like a military camp. And so that's it. I mean, that's really what we're talking about. Okay, but understand that does not fit nicely into a slogan. As I said, it just took me like almost 5 minutes to explain it, what that means. Whereas Republicans, all they say is, defund police bad, more police good. And then you have Democrats that say the same thing because they're afraid of losing their seats. Because again, this is not a thing that is easy to explain to people, especially people in white suburban areas who only have pleasant experiences with police. I've had very pleasant experiences with police officers. I am not like somebody who lives in a black community who does not have pleasant experiences with police. Wonder why? I think it's pretty obvious, okay? But like I said, you have to find a way to make people understand what you actually mean. And so I can understand the Democrats wanting to run away from that because Republicans are good at messaging. The thing is, instead of running away, I actually want to be able to figure out a way to message our defund the police message and more like a fund the community message instead of police, so that we can actually get this stuff done. Okay. And so we've got to find a way to appeal to the normies. That's all I'm saying. And now that's it. This is why the fact that somebody like Loeffler, it sounds like a robot from these talking points to us, understand that like this is the kind of stuff that works. She is pre-programmed with these phrases, with these buzzwords, with these very simple concepts that you can really interpret in any way. And it's super, super effective. And that's why Republicans constantly use it. Now, the only difference is the reason that Kelly Loeffler, people could see that she's super like insincere and robotic is because she didn't have any charisma to deliver that. Compared to Donald Trump, who says the exact same things. She is just, like I said, incredibly robotic. She looks like something that escaped out of a Cyberdyne research lab. And so that's why she got panned. But understand, that is the Republican position. That is exactly what they do. And that's why they continue to win. Okay. I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. Not yet. Don't you do that. Me. All right. Anyway, I'm going to be back. Quick break. We've got more stories, so stay right here. We got Steve Doocy versus Newt Gingrich. And then War on Christmas. Always fun. So stay right here around the nation.
Give me a break.
It's like a shark, NATO, except with poop.
Hold on. Okay. Welcome back to the show, Around the Nation. Right here, Waldorf Nation. I have so many. I've been like messing around with my audio that I'm not even sure what inputs I'm using anymore. So it's a mess. It's a disaster. I need to figure things out. Okay. Anyway. So I want to thank some channel members here before I get to the rest of the show. So I want to thank that girl. Thank you, that girl, for becoming a member. And Christopher Johankin, thank you for signing up to become a member. That's, of course, through our membership program by hitting the join button below on YouTube. And then I want to go over to patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. That's where you can support the show. I want to thank Dan Peachy and Gregory Ledger. So thank you for being patrons, for supporting the show. And of course, you know how to get there. It's in the description, patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Okay. Anyway, let's. Oh, by the way, thank you, Koru, for the incredibly kind $20 on the super chat. That's another way to help the show, so thank you for that. Okay. Let's do it. Mr. I want to call him Nasty Newt. Can I do that? I would like to do that. Anyway. Okay. Thank you, by the way. Zombie Skincare. Subscribing with Prime. Thank you. Much appreciated. Love it. It's silver on Twitch. Twitch is happening. Much love, of course, to the YouTube audience as well. All right. Something weird has happened over at Fox News. One of the hosts actually pushed back on a conspiracy about voter fraud. So now this, of course, was during a conversation with Newt Gingrich. And he's going to say something that's completely off the rails. Well, let's take a look.
I believe Trump probably did actually carry Georgia. I believe that the election process is a mess. I really wish the governor called a special session to clean it up. And the Republicans simply have to turn out more votes than Stacey Abrams can steal.
I'm sorry, what? We just need to get more votes than what Stacey Abrams can steal. That's fascinating. I've never heard that conspiracy before. But look, here's the thing. I think this is calculated. I think Newt Gingrich, as much as I loathe to give him credit, he's actually kind of hitting on something there. See, he's trying to play it down the middle. Because on the one hand, of course, Republicans are trying to follow Donald Trump and saying, oh, the massive voter fraud, cheated, it's all rigged. The 2020, 100% rigged, your vote doesn't matter. But also, some Republicans realized, oh, shit, we need people to vote. We need people to vote. And so brilliantly, Newt Gingrich came up with this conspiracy that it's Stacey Abrams that is stealing your vote. And that if you turn out in big enough numbers, can you defeat Stacey Abrams' evil plot? I'm not kidding. So now that is an interesting theory, my friend. And I don't mean friend, sir. But understand that it is a way for him to try to have his cake and eat it too. Especially since they also add in scary black woman stealing your votes. Now, apparently, Steve Doocy did not get the memo on this because he actually challenged him. Take a look.
How is Stacey Abrams going to steal votes
And the second part is the people of Georgia are confused. On Saturday night, you had the president there saying that the election was rigged. It was stolen from him. And people, I was reading in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution this morning, they've got a big article about people who live there, and they go, I don't know what to believe because the president says it was rigged, so why would I vote? Because it's not going to count.
Well, they need to vote because the key to a Republican victory is to have more votes than the left can steal.
How are they going to steal them?
The agreement the Secretary of State made with Stacey Abrams was crazy. They have their back now once again with these boxes where you can drop off ballots, which are an invitation to going out and gathering up votes, which is illegal under Georgia law. By the way, the county governments will not allow Republicans in to see who they're sending the ballots to. So the only time you can verify signature that matters is on the way out, which the counties won't let Republicans watch. When the ballots come back in under the agreement the Secretary of State made, you're not allowed to verify them. And the result has been at least 3 times as many votes would have been ruled out as Biden's entire margin. That doesn't count other problems, which we've seen. You know, the video on the security camera of the person who happened to have an entire batch of extra ballots. There are a lot of things that went on that are, you know, I mean, I spent a long time in Georgia politics. I have never seen an election that was this blatantly disorganized.
Look, you want to talk about blatantly disorganized? Where was that thought train head, bro? I mean, that was just like cast off random thoughts. Like, there's no argument there. There's just conspiracies. No evidence, no just conspiracies. In fact, the video that he alluded to has already been debunked by an Atlanta local news team and the Republican Secretary of State's office in Georgia. Oh, so now you're saying, oh, no. The Republican Party now, Republican Party officials are actually deep state Democrat plants that are working with Stacey Abrams, a liberal, communist, socialist, scary black woman, to go and steal your votes. Or how about this? More people voted for Biden and Donald Trump lost. Weird. I mean, come on. No, that's hilariously sad. And by the way, again, Steve Doocy out there saying, okay, but how would she steal the votes? Like, how would she steal the votes? It sounds ridiculous. And understand, that's like the most pushback I think I've seen Steve Doocy say or do that. And so when that guy hands you your ass, that's bad. That's really bad because he's not even that bright. And he's like, I don't know about that one. Okay. And it's a stretch, right? And here's the thing. Okay. I think this is Fox News, Fox and Friends moving on from Donald Trump. Okay. Now, that, of course, is aside from Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and Laura Ingraham. Now, what they're trying to do is they're trying to wring as many views from coping MAGA chuds as they can before January 20th. To which afterwards, of course, after Hannity and Tucker Carlson say, oh, well, you know, here we go. Joe Biden is 46th president of the United States. All of those chuds, they're going to run off to OAN and Newsmax. And they know that. You don't think Fox News knows that a significant number of their viewer base now no longer considers them to be conservative media? Now views them as liberal media and has to go off to more crazy pastures? And so OAN, Newsmax, is perfect for them because they don't care at all about anything. They're just like, oh, yeah, Joe Biden is drinking the adrenochrome. Babies, run it. Fuck it. Let's run it all. It gets crazy views. And that's unfortunately all that they care about. And I'm not saying Fox News is great. Fox News is the reason we're in decline right now, or one of the reasons, at least when it comes to news, so-called news with the conservative side. But like, they know the bill's coming due, and they know that people are going to leave. So they're trying to wring out as many views as they can. Those three. But the rest of Fox News is moving on because Rupert Murdoch has moved on. And what Rupert Murdoch wants, since he's the owner of Fox News, well, that's what he's going to get. And so there it is. Just more evidence of Fox News moving into the post-Trump era. But in case you were worried that Fox News is going to suddenly start being an upstanding, quote-unquote, news organization, well, don't worry. Because after all, at the end of the day, it's still Fox News. All right. One more here. Let's go to War on Christmas. These are always fun. Okay. It's a season to scare conservatives senseless about the left and how they're apparently coming for Christmas. That's what Donald Trump did. Take a look.
Let me begin by wishing you all a very Merry Christmas. Remember the word? Remember? We started 5 years ago, and I said, you're going to be saying Christmas again, and we say it proudly again, although they'll be trying to take that word again out of the vocabulary. We're not going to let them do that.
They're trying to take that word away. They're trying to take away Christmas. We're not going to let them do that. We're not. Who do what?
Tighten up my meat.
Who's trying to take away Christmas? Nobody's trying to take away Christmas. Oh, I'm sorry. Is Biden trying to take away from Christmas? The Catholic. You're telling me the Catholic Biden is trying to take Christmas away. You know that he's incredibly in favor of Christmas. What the fuck are you talking about? This makes no sense. Look, I always find this alleged war on Christmas fascinating. And for those of you, like, understand this has been going on for a long time. The war on Christmas, all the way back to like when Bill O'Reilly was doing these segments where they would literally have the chyron as war on Christmas. And he'd talk about how the left like hates Christmas and is trying to take away. Same thing, right? Same energy. And so I think I think it's super fascinating because there's no evidence of it. I mean, Christmas is literally $1 billion holiday. Probably more than that, right? It's one of the biggest spending days of the year. It literally takes up both November and December. I mean, they start playing Christmas music after Halloween. To say that Christmas is imperiled is just not in reality at all. So sit the fuck down, right? If you're thinking like Christmas is somehow like, oh my God, they're going to take away Christmas. But here's the thing, right? Now, and Trump knows this on some instinctual level, right? That the right-wing Christians, evangelicals on the conservative side, love being victims. They love the victimhood. They bathe in it. They cannot wait to be the victim. They can't wait to turn everything into a microaggression against them and their faith. And the biggest, most successful microaggression, as far as they're concerned, is somebody saying, Happy Holidays. And I think I figured out why. So yeah, I put a little thought into this. I was like, you know what? Revelation. Here we go. They believe that Happy Holidays is the all lives matter of greetings. What are you talking about? Happy Holidays? No, you don't say Happy Holidays. You say Merry Christmas. You say Merry Christmas. How dare you say all holidays matter? I only want mine to matter. Only mine. What about me? I'm a victim. I don't care about other people's holidays. Screw them. What about mine? What about Christmas? Seriously. And by the way, there are other holidays. I don't know if you know that. And in fact, like, here's the thing about Christmas, which is funny. And the Christmas tree especially, right? Because Eric Trump said in 2016 that his father was motivated to run for president partly because of the claim that the White House Christmas tree had been named Holiday Tree. Now, this was from an interview with James Robinson that was cited in BuzzFeed. Quote, He opens up the paper each morning, doubtful, or maybe to read the comics maybe, and sees our nation's leaders giving $100 billion to Iran. Not at all true. Or he opens the paper and some new school districts eliminate the ability for its students to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Also not true. It is, it is a story when a teacher can no longer do something like that or lead a prayer in school or whatever, because that's a First Amendment issue. Or some fire department, he says, in some town is ordered by the mayor to no longer fly the American flag in the back of a fire truck.
I like my meat tight.
Or he sees the tree in the White House lawn has been renamed Holiday Tree instead of Christmas Tree. I could go on and on for hours. Oh, yeah, I bet that he could. I bet that he could. The microaggressions. So many. Oh, so many. But here's the other thing, right? And I don't know if any of this is really I don't know if anybody's really conscious of this among conservatives, but I think the grifters get it. People like Donald Trump, again, get it on an instinctual level, at least. But you have people like Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk. Those are the people that kind of understand it, because the Dave Rubins of the world, they're the grifters, right? And they know that, conservatives, they respond to this, right? We can make money off this if we just stoke them just a little bit, poke them a little bit, and say the liberals are coming after your Christmas, right? And that's why they push it every single year. That's why you see the virtue signaling from these conservative grifters on Twitter to rile people up, all right? And so now the regular ones who tune into Fox and OAN, the regular conservatives, they tune into Fox News, OAN, Newsmax, whatever, in order to get their opinions, their thoughts. They tune in so that they can get told how to think, right? And what to think about things. And those people, again, are also influenced by the grifters and are pushed into this frothing rage whenever somebody says happy holidays. It's so they can, of course, make money. It really goes to explain why people get so enraged over the idea of somebody saying happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas. And it's because it's that all lives or all holidays matter, and they can't stand it. They can't stand it. And it's also a good example of them knowing exactly what the problem with all lives matter is about, because it's not about all lives. It's a foil for Black Lives Matter. And I think that they know that happy holidays is kind of the same thing, trying to put all holidays on one equal footing. Now, they think it's meant to invalidate Christmas, but again, it's just to put it on par with anyone else, with any other holiday. But they don't even like that either. They can't stand it, because they're like, no, I don't want my holiday to be on par with Kwanzaa or Hanukkah. No, fuck that. No, I want my holiday to be the best. I want my holiday to be more special and more important because I'm more special and I'm more important. And Donald Trump knows this. He knows this. The grifters know this. And so, and the reason, of course, that Donald Trump knows this is because he's the same way. As I said, instinctual, right? He's not smart enough to realize what he's doing. He's got a natural talent for screwing people over. And so he sees himself in the conservative movement as wanting to be special and unique and more important than anyone else. And so they see, of course, the people, his fans, they see a mirror that allows them to reflect the worst version of themselves unto the world, to be the shittiest person that they can be. So that's why the Republicans are the party of Trump. And, also why partly these culture war issues of war on Christmas and all that stuff helped get us to where we actually had somebody in power like Donald Trump. It really does explain a lot. All right. Anyway, that was fun. All right. I don't mind Christmas at all. It's fine. I like spending people with family. I wish I could do so, but we got coronavirus. But hopefully next year we'll be able to get together again and do all that stuff. Yeah. Anyway, happy Festivus to you all as well. All right. So anyway, that's all I got for the show today. Thank you for going around the nation with me. Please like and share the stream if you haven't already. Very helpful if you do so. Sign up to become a patron. Thank you for the super chats as well. And the subscriptions over on Twitch. Follow the channel if you haven't already. And of course, subscribe to us on YouTube. Like our Facebook page, all that stuff. If you want to as well. And we will see you later. Have a good night. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, nation. See you later.
Mike Pounds.
I like my meat tight. Tighten up my meat. You're kicking me out the door. You're kicking me out the door.